see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag.
What's up, guys? My name is Garrett Mandigo. Some of you probably have been shuffled this way from Instagram, may have heard me refer to myself as G Money. I like to sell shit, for lack of better terms. I help people sell more products, sell more service, grow and scale online, increase their audience and following, convert that following to more money. And that all being said, that has taken a lot to get up to this point. So we wanted to take a little bit of time. Lauren and I, this is my girlfriend Lauren, say hi real quick. We wanted to kind of introduce ourselves, to tell a little bit about what built us and our backgrounds to get to this point, and then how we can use that to help you guys grow and scale online and kind of take things to the next level. So I'm gonna kind of dive in depth first on myself, I guess, and then Lauren will kind of take a turn down the road. But my life started a little differently than it looks right now. I grew up as a fat kid, overweight my whole life. From 8 years old, I had to lose weight to play Pop Warner football, and never really got attention from the ladies. Lauren was the popular cheerleader in school. I was the loudmouth fat kid. That kind of led me to get into some trouble, honestly, because I was loudmouth. A lot of people, anybody that's still, you know, connected to...
The leader of the loudmouth, I think.
Leader of the loudmouths?
Totally, the leader of the
loudmouth. Yeah, well, and some things don't change, I suppose. That's where I started at. And so a lot of my friends, anybody that's been connected since high school can remember me getting in trouble, you know, at football games in high school and stuff like that. But I went to UNC Charlotte for a split second. I always was told I was supposed to go to school, so I went majoring in mechanical engineering. Me and my brother both had a passion for cars and going fast and things like that. And so went for mechanical engineering, and this little squeaky guy is my dog Crane, by the way, if he interjects.
Crane and Dora.
Crane and Dora's hiding underneath, yeah. So I went for mechanical engineering for literally a split second, partied a little bit in school, realized it just wasn't my thing. Although I was very good at it growing up, it just wasn't my speed to follow someone else's path. And so dropped out of school very quickly, much to the dismay of my parents. So I dropped out of school, moved back home. Still as a fat kid at this point, I had my heart broken by the first and then only girl that ever paid me any attention, the preacher's daughter. This is a story for another day. So had my heart broken and got a gym membership. And I started working really fucking hard. I lost 100 pounds in about 5.5 or 6 months, which is way too fast to do it. Side note, don't do that. I just really restrictive dieting, did a lot of cardio, and lost weight fast. And it really changed my perspective on life, my performance in life. I had more confidence overall, obviously, got more attention from not only girls, but just more, you know, connection with other people when you have that level of self-confidence. So my professional career started to grow a little bit. I got promoted into management at then Dick's Sporting Goods, working in retail. So yeah, I started selling sneakers. Lauren remembers I was your friendly neighborhood sneakerologist at Finish Line.
Sneakerologist.
Lauren's side note, Lauren and I dated when we were younger, 2013. So after I lost a better weight, my confidence built up, spent time around friends from school. We got reconnected again from school, and we worked for a short period of time. That is, I was kind of hard-headed. Her parents weren't a huge fan of Mr. Smoke Weed a lot, and so there's that. So that being said, I sold sneakers for a while, got into fitness a lot. My energy in life raised tremendously. Got promoted into leadership, and the fitness aspect of my life started to take off a little bit more. Started to bodybuild on a little bit new level, and so I took fitness a little more seriously. And then in October 14th, 2014, my younger brother, Jesse, passed away out of the blue. He was 18 years old. At the time, he had a 3-year-old daughter, Kaylee Grace, and it was very unexpected. It was about 10 days after my 21st birthday. Her and I actually had been broken up for about 6 months or so. And Jesse had been my DD the night before. For me and my best friend Hunter, we went out. Jesse DD'd for us. His only promise that he had for me was that I had to smoke weed with him when we got home. So we did that, went to sleep. Next morning I wake up, go to the gym, come home, and found Jesse that way. So that dramatically changed me as a person a lot. So I went to a dark place first. I think most people would assume that, but quickly I had all my family kind of leaning on me for leadership and guidance. A lot of Jesse's friends, a lot of my friends, we were one circle of people. So a lot of people leaned on me for leadership and guidance at that point in time. So almost immediately, I stood tall as a flagpole is what I tell people. My mom and dad kind of shook in the wind, and I stood tall to give people some level of stability. So that kind of formed into my personality as a man as I grew as a whole. So even to the aspect of at Jesse's funeral, you know, they had our childhood youth pastor up there speaking on Jesse and some other people, and they painted this beautiful picture of him, which was awesome. But, you know, it wasn't the same little brother that I knew, that, you know, my friends in the front rows knew. So I unexpectedly, unplanned, jumped up and spoke on Jesse at his funeral. And that moment of leadership, you know, I spoke on my desire to lead Kaylee and my family and others to a newer level that Jesse would have desired. So that speech, that moment in my life kind of defined who I became. Not necessarily easily though. I struggled a lot with growth because of the place that I come from, the people that I had surrounded myself with growing up. Spent a lot of time in the hood, for the lack of a better way to put it, around people they probably shouldn't have, drinking a lot as a teenager and all these things. So I had these demons and darkness inside of me that I didn't know how to deal with quite yet, but I knew that I wanted to transition this dark point in my life into something great. And so I got a tattoo of some wings on my back. I'm sure if you ever follow me on Instagram, you've seen that many times. And so I got my brother's, you know, dates on my back and wings, and I used that point to uplift me. So that then transitioned bodybuilding in a whole different realm for me. So I had something to push me a lot further. So I committed to doing a bodybuilding show in October of 2015. And through the course of that immense effort, people start to notice you working that hard. They notice your physical change. And so at that point in time, I was offered a job in the gym, Gold's Gym. Used to be the Rush Fitness when that process first started for me. And the guy basically said, I see you in here all the time. You're working your ass off. I think you'd be great in here. I want to give you a job. And said, all right, awesome. So took the job offer. They ran a background check on me, and a lot of the shit that I got in high school, they were like, oh, we got to let you go. And so shout out to Mark Carley, who I'm gonna plug right here at some point somehow. I can get you his Instagram stuff. Great mentor of mine in life. Went to bat for me at Gold's Gym and told him, look, this kid's great. I know he can be great. He's past the trouble in his life, and I think you should give him a chance. And they did, and we kicked ass as a team. We never missed a goal. Josh, who was my sales manager, eventually my GM underneath Mark, those guys taught me how to both lead and not lead. Josh was a good sales guy, the best, taught me how to sell phenomenally, taught me how to market, taught me how to close in all aspects of life, but he was a terrible leader and an interpersonal relationship. Love him a lot like an older brother in some ways, but he didn't necessarily leave the best imprint. Mark did in a lot of different ways. So I was blessed to have a lot of different men to lead me in different ways through the gym space. And that kind of built who I came. Bodybuilding, I was so passionate about, but terrible at. Because I was a fat kid, I had never really had the build to be successful, at least up to this point in men's physique bodybuilding, but I was always very passionate about it. But on the flip side of that coin, I was always extremely successful in work. I was always extremely successful in the gym as far as selling at high levels. I was the #1 sales guy in our region for a reason, because our process in our club worked. What we were doing worked. When we trained guys underneath us, when I left that space, they were still great. You know, guys that are my downline, Brad, you know, Alex, guys that Tang, even guys that were not the best when we got started, we turned into killers. And so there came a point in time after jumping around gym to gym, I ended up at Fitness Connection in Raleigh, North Carolina. And here's the crazy wolf dog. What you think? Ended up at Fitness Connection. You gonna sit down with me up here? Ended up at Fitness Connection in Raleigh. I basically get promoted to a GM position and do well. And they want to promote me to a bigger club. And at the time of my life, I had been exiting one relationship and had what I didn't know at the time, but a very toxic relationship beginning. And it drew me out of the gym space. because I wanted to spend more time with her. And so I got a little fed up with some of the things happening in the gym. They offered me a bigger club. I was thinking it over about where I wanted to take my life, and I decided that I didn't want to become the guys who were offering me this job, and so I quit. I didn't just not take that offer, but I quit and decided that I had to chase something different. And so that's when I was connected with a childhood friend of mine, Nick, who had a service-based sales business who I helped scale a little bit. We did well fast over a short period of time, and it proved to myself that I could do more than just sell gym memberships, that I was more than just a fit guy. And honestly, side note, it proved to more than just myself, it proved to other people in my life that I could be more than just, you know, a fit guy selling personal training or selling gym memberships. And I think that's important to add because, you know, I struggled to expand because I was listening to my parents and to other people, to mentors in the gym, people who hadn't done what I wanted to do as far as entrepreneurship. So until I could prove that I had done something in that space outside of a corporate gym space, it's like no one wanted to believe that it was real. And so once I had at least a little bit of proof, you know, people can see that, people feel that, you know, the name of all of this is highly effective. I operate everything off of energy, you know, and so people feel my energy. And so through the course of growing that business with Nick, I was offered a opportunity to have my own business doing the same service. Me and my partner, Brad, wanted to go down to Boca Raton, which didn't end up happening. The partner wanted to keep it in our hometown for a while to basically test it on a few of his properties before we move forward. Long story short, that backfired. We ended up getting into some headache with Nick and some other things, and so our investor backed out. That business falls apart. That toxic relationship I mentioned a few minutes ago blows up at the same exact time. So I'm at a very, very dark point in my life. That's around May 2018. And I really didn't know what I was gonna do next, much to my displeasure. I took a job back at the gym, LA Fitness this time, a lower position, not as much commitment, but I needed to make some revenue fast. And so I did that and was quickly reminded why I hated that. And that lasted about 6 weeks. Decided I was going to do a bodybuilding show until I found out what I was gonna do next. And did that October of 2018 and got my ass kicked again. I'm gonna plug a bunch of people here. Akeen, we're not really that connected, but we still are connected on social media. That's what all this is about. A guy that placed well, still does well. He won that show, and I realized my bodybuilding career may not be over, but was changing because my physique doesn't look like his, doesn't look like theirs. So I needed to do something different. I was very depressed, in a very dark place in my life, and Brad, who I mentioned a few minutes ago, said, I'm moving to Los Angeles, jumped in his truck with a friend of his, drove across the country with no thought. Literally within a 3-day time frame, Brad moved to LA, and I'm like, yo, this kid that I've been mentoring, this my younger brother, Brad, you know, I call Brad my little brother all the time. So there's no way I'm gonna let this, you know, little brother, you know, outdo me, you know. So after the bodybuilding thing went, you know, not great for me, I realized that fitness may not be my forever answer like I thought it was gonna be. You know, Mr. Sponsored Athlete and professional bodybuilder was always the goal coming up. I realized it probably wasn't gonna be what we were gonna land on. And so Brad moved to LA. I said, all right, no way I'm gonna let you out hustle me. So I moved to LA. I'm 25 years old at this point in this story. And I've had level of success. I've made $100,000, you know, at least 1 year. I made $70,000 in the gym as, you know, 22-year-old. So like I had a level of success, and I'd made a lot of money to this point for comparative to a lot of my friends that went to school, honestly, with really no effort. We just could sell shit, could talk real well, and made a lot of money. So that's key, you know, crucial. After all the lawsuit and headache and everything, all that stuff that happens, at a point in time in December of 2018, when my mom uses her air miles to buy my flight to Los Angeles, she loaned me $400 so that I could figure something out. And I shit you not, it is all I had to my name, $400 when I went there. And me and Lauren were best friends through all the years after we broke up. And that is important down the road, but no matter our different relationships that hated it, we stayed best friends for what we didn't know at the time. We didn't know why. But we always connected well. We always had, you know, a deep connection. She was really the only woman that I ever loved, you know, and knew firmly that I loved.
Aw,
Crane.
Crane, you ruined the moment.
You know, I didn't know it at the time necessarily, but when we broke up as a young kid, you know, I told her that it would make sense again one day, maybe when we're 25.
Literally.
Maybe down the road when we're older and more mature. I don't know, but just don't forget about me. And so because of that, we stayed good friends. We connected often. We consistently would go get fajitas and margaritas, you know, and that was our thing. Yeah, and we were completely platonic, and that's consistent. You know, that's no lies on any of that. People have always questioned us, but that's the truth.
True.
And so the night before I moved to LA, you know, I told Lauren that I was going. She was kind of upset. We go get our margaritas and fajitas and have a great night, and she cries and makes me cry, and I'm like, you know, not sure what I'm doing. And then I get on this plane, and Avril Lavigne shuffles on my
thing, mind you.
my
We've been to
Spotify.
her concert twice
We went
now.
to Avril Lavigne as a kid, and Avril Lavigne shuffles on. I'm on the plane, and again, I'm broke, so I'm in the very back seat, and I'm like very back seat of the plane. Thank God, because I'm like crying my eyes out and listening to Avril Lavigne. No idea what I'm getting into. Land all the way across the country. Brad picks me up, and he's in his two-seater truck with his buddy Hunter, so there's 3 of us now, and we have no money between us. We started to create something special quickly. So like the first night I landed, I want to tell this detail because I think it's funny, is Brad, he's like, all right, I'm staying in this Airbnb, it's only $25 a night. I'm like, look, man, I only got 400 bucks. I'm not spending the 25 tonight, I'm gonna sleep in the truck. So me and Hunter sleep in the truck. Problem is, anybody spending time homeless in Los Angeles knows you can't really sleep in the truck, man. They're gonna come like knocking on the window, and so like every so often you get woken up, and so you can't really sleep much. But I'm pretty good at selling gym memberships. So the next day we managed to line up an interview. For 2 days later, I get hired as a GM at USA Fitness. We're not gonna plug them because they're a terrible company with a terrible owner. I hate that guy. But he gave me a job, and I got Brad a job as well because Brad also was my protege in the gym. And so we started making some money, at least quickly, which was good. I made enough money through the first 3 weeks of being in there that I was able to make enough money to get a deposit on a house. And then I fucking quit that job. As soon as I had proof of income and enough money to get the deposit, I quit my job. And you guys will tell through this story, I live life by the seat of my pants, much to the dismay of my parents. So keep in mind, my mom got me this flight, gave me this $400. She co-signs, I'm not sure how this makes me look at 25 years old, but she co-signs for me to get this apartment because it's fucking expensive to live in Los Angeles. And I am just barely making enough money to truly afford it. But I believe in myself fully. My mama has always believed in me fully, more than anybody else in the world. And so no matter how ridiculous I may sound and reckless I may be, she supports the vision. And so I quit the gym. And Brad has a friend from home who lives in Hollywood who connects us to a secret session in Los Angeles, a taco sesh. Anybody in LA, any of my cannabis people, I'm sure you've all been to one or have heard about them. It's basically like a farmer's market for cannabis growers, and it's really cool. Met a few guys that grow really good product, make really good product, and you know, I was like, hey, I can help you guys sell more stuff because that's what I do from the gym. And so I did that, and we did it well. And we helped them scale a lot through the year. We made a lot of money doing it. We went from $400 in December of 2018 to clearing $400,000 in the cannabis space in 2019. That was a dramatic increase. And we used a lot of that revenue to facilitate other businesses in order to continue to use our sales and marketing experience to scale outwards. And had a lot of fun doing it throughout the year. So I'm gonna briefly skim over the cannabis stuff just because we're gonna talk about that a lot, you know, moving forward. It's a big chunk of who I am, and so we'll go more in depth on that down the road. But so to kind of tie up back into where we'll toss it over to Lauren, I had fun last year, making a lot of money. I spent a lot of money, went to a lot of different music festivals, did a lot of fun stuff, traveled. And then July 11th is my brother's birthday. And so get your tissues ready because this is another one that's gonna make you cry a little bit. So I come home from Los Angeles to take my niece, who at this point is 8 years old. No, she's 7 at the time. I come from LA. We're gonna go to Carowinds because we want to celebrate Daddy's birthday. We always do something fun, Daddy's birthday and his death day, Angel Day. So we go, I have a little French bulldog named Luck. He's not here. He spent my whole LA journey with me. He was my only friend through a lot of it. And I came home and left the dog at my parents' house. Me and Kaylee went to Carowinds, which is a little theme park close home in Charlotte. And I come back home and there's a car that I'm like, is that Lauren's car? Like, why is Lauren here? And Kaylee's like, Kaylee knows Lauren as well. Kaylee comes to Lauren's family's farm all the time. So Kaylee and Lauren have a relationship as well. And so Kaylee's like excited to see Lauren. And I'm a little bit confused why she's there, not sure. But I go inside and I walk into the back porch by the pool, and my mom and Lauren are back there, both just like trying to hold back tears. And I'm like, you know, what's wrong? And they're like, I don't know how to tell you this. Like, I don't know how to tell you, you know, Luck fell in the pool and he drowned, and I'm so sorry, all right? And my mom called Lauren because, backpedal real fast, when Jesse passed away, although me and Lauren were just friends, she was who I turned to. I didn't really have anybody else on an emotional level like that. And so that's obviously, my mom knew that too. And so my mom brought Lauren there. Lauren was there to console me, you know, and I'm not really a sad, cry, emotional guy. Even through the loss of Jesse, it was a very personal thing on that note, but like, it didn't really strike me as hard, I think, as they expected, but what it did is bring things to light for me. First off, in a time of pain and hurt, I was called to turn to Lauren. You know, my heart felt drawn to Lauren, and so there's that. And the dog's name was Luck, you know, and you guys are gonna hear me talk a lot about luck, law of attraction, energy, those things like that. I named the dog Luck because I believe that we make our own luck. I tell everybody that everywhere I go, I come with my own luck. So that's why we named the dog Luck. And so then Luck dies, Luck passes away, and most people, again, would look as like an ow moment or a pain point and feel like it's sad, but I can tell you that the perspective that we took out of it, I think Kaylee summed it up best. Me and Kaylee sitting in the hot tub, and she, keep in mind, is 7 years old, and she looks at me, she says, "It's okay, Uncle G. It's okay because my daddy's up in heaven and he can take care of your baby and you can take care of his." And so to get that perspective, right? To get that perspective from a 7-year-old, instantly, you know, is a eye opener. And then, you know, I realized that, you know, there's no bad things. It's something you guys will hear me say a lot moving forward. It's like, there's no bad things that happen. It's just good things in the process. And so it was very lucky, you know, to play off the dog's name, that Lauren was brought back into my life, you know. Without that happening, it may not have been brought to the surface, you know, that she was and always will be more than my best friend. And anybody between her and I in our lives will tell you that we were always more than best friends, even if we were only ever best friends. And so I think the loss of the dog brought, you know, our relationship back to the surface. Big flashing red problem is that Lauren has a boyfriend at the time. And so I put her in a real difficult spot. Hey, what's up? This is how it is. And, you know, she had to pull back for a second, you know. So the dog passed away. That was on a Wednesday. I was supposed to fly back to LA on Sunday. By Friday, I'm like, yo, if anybody knows me, I'm full send. I don't hold back. You either do it or you don't do it. And so by Friday, I'm like drinking by myself at the bar, calling my friends like, yo, I think I gotta tell her. Like, I don't know how to not tell her. And so all my friends are like, do it, you should just do it. Like, you got nothing to lose, do it. And so I'm like, all right. And so then Jordan Garris, who is a partner of mine and who works with me in many spaces and a very close friend, old Gold's Gym partner, comes and sits with me at the bar, and I'm talking to Lauren, texting her, and I'm like, trying to, casually, apply things at the point in time, and like, I tell her I'm with Jordan, and she's like, oh, well, I'll let you go. I don't want to cock block. Now, keep in mind, Jordan is gay, and
I didn't know who
I'm not her type, let's just say that. And so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, are you kidding me, Lauren? I'm sitting here trying to convince my best friend that, we should be more than friends. and you're telling me that you don't want to cock block, and she's like,
You didn't even drop any hints like that though at first. It wasn't even like that.
well, I mean, it's always been like that. She just didn't know it. I mean, just to drop hints is one thing, but like I've always dropped the whole entire world to be, you know, to be beside her. Every friend of mine will tell you that there was never anybody that took priority over Lauren. Every woman in my past will tell you that there's never anybody that took priority over Lauren. So I mean, I didn't have to imply much for her to know, in my opinion, but I just had to say it outright for her to hear it, I guess. And so this, again, I was supposed to leave on Sunday, and she's like, all right, I'm in Charlotte with my best friend, and you know, I'm not gonna be there until this time, and I'm not sure if I'm ready, I need to think about it. I'm like, okay, like, I'll wait. So I'm supposed to leave on Sunday with my partner, Sean, who's coming out there to be my right hand in the cannabis space. And so Sean is uprooting his whole entire life just like I did at this point in time. He's leaving his girlfriend in North Carolina. And so he's like ready to go. And I'm like, we gotta wait a couple days. And so I pressed the brakes, cancel the flight, you know, because at the time we're making a lot of money. And so I'm like, it doesn't matter how much money it costs. My mom's like, you know, you're just gonna cancel, you can come back and you can call her. I'm like, it doesn't matter how much money it costs, Mom. And like, so I canceled the flights and pushed it back 2 days. And she's like, I still need more time. And so like, she still
This is all still news to me. I didn't really know all of that.
She still didn't know how
I
to
didn't know you
act, or
canceled
needed time to
flights.
process. And so me and Sean moved to LA still with no answers for me and Lauren, and I didn't really know what was gonna happen. But after a short period of time and not really much thought, it makes sense. We have always
Broke up
made
with my
sense.
boyfriend.
She's like, we need to be slow. Like, I don't want people to think that I'm just bouncing back. I'm like, people have been asking us consistently for 6 years since we broke up if we're still together. So it's like not about a bounce back. And so like, it just made sense. And as soon as I had some level of emotional stability in my life, our professional life has just skyrocketed. You know, we've done more numbers in every space. We've launched more businesses. We've found more partnerships. Lauren and I are currently working on this highly effective thing, which is really what's bringing this to reality, which is gonna help other people use their stories, their life, their experiences, their passions to create the influencer, you know, business model, influencer lifestyle. The ability to be free with your time and money and create on your own is what, through that whole story, that's what I hope that you get, is that I've gone through hell and high water, and you'll soon hear about hers, to get to a point where I can be the creator of my life. You know, I'm only 26 years old. She's a little bit older. I'm into the older women. She's 27.
We're half birthdays.
She's exactly 6 months older than I am.
To the day.
We're young as shit, right? But I can tell you that we are in control of our lives. You know, she has been in control of her life professionally as a model since we dated before. You know, since Hallmark, you haven't had a real job.
Since 18. Well, was that 18?
No. You always say 18.
I don't know why I
You were
always think
20
that.
at your 21st
20.
birthday.
20 years old.
Yep. So, you know, since 20, so 7 years, she's been creating her own, at least her own schedule, right? Choosing what job she wants to take and what not to take, and creating her own money based off what she's passionate about. Neither one of us went to school. Neither one of us went a current route. Both of us jumped around the country and created on the fly, and had a very difficult road doing it. But now we're at a position where I think both of us have really found stability for the first time in our lives that we've never really had before. And we're excited to see what this means for us moving forward, what it means for all of you guys that are a part of this with us. Obviously, we wouldn't do this if we didn't feel like we could connect with you guys. We want to help you go to the next level, and in turn, we know that will kind of help us launch all the different things that we're doing. So that being said, that's a brief summary of who I am as a person. You guys will probably hear a lot more of my voice. I'm definitely, I think, the talker between the two of us. She is the balancer in a lot of ways. So I talk a lot. My YouTube channel is Garrett Talks a Lot. So I mean, you're gonna hear my voice a lot moving forward. Good, bad, ugly. You're gonna like some of it. You're not gonna like some of it. I don't care either way. I want to establish that in an initial video as well. One thing that you will always get from me is authenticity. I'm not gonna filter. I'm not gonna change things. I don't give a shit if you like me. I never have. I've had many people that have not liked me and my branding and my effort over the years. I have a list of all of those people on the phone. So we haven't forgotten about it. I mean, so that being said, I don't care if you like it. I hope that you do. I hope that my authenticity encourages you guys to embrace your own branding. We're going to smoke weed and talk shit and sell a lot of stuff. We're gonna share a lot about our personal relationship. We're gonna share about you know, the struggles that we have, that she has standing beside a guy like me, you know, being high energy, being highly effective, being 120 miles an hour all the time is not easy on me, and it's certainly not easy on her. She can tell you that on her own. But that being said, I think you guys will be able to find a lot of value from the different aspects that we'll be able to add to you. On top of all of that, I am a fitness guy. She's super hot. She models, does the acting. She is super fit. We are very passionate about the fitness stuff. She doesn't like when I'm as extra as I am sometimes.
You're always extra, like that.
It doesn't turn off.
It's always
all the
extra
time.
about something.
Right, so that's who I am. I'm gonna flex a lot. She's gonna flex a little bit less than I am. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And I hope you guys do too.
You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and it giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah,
I am Lauren Smith. I am an actor/model, and I have been since I was 12. It's been 15 years now, and it's been a crazy ride, and I'm going to share my story in the next video.
10 to 80, my savings. Take to the top on the baseline. New car, race